So here we are. We have an epidemic, a worldwide epidemic. The incidence in Japan is huge, and in England is huge, and in the United States is huge, and in the Middle East it appears to be huge. What is going on? I used to think when I would finish my training that autism was in a little box. It was on a shelf of things, all the different conditions. The 6,000 diseases are all on this big shelf. And there's this little box with autism in it. And people said, well, you'll never see one of those. Well, of course, now we see them everywhere. And so what's going on? Is it something in a box? There's just some special thing in the environment that's causing this epidemic. Certainly not genetics, because genetics doesn't cause epidemics. So what is it? Well, the focus has been in this little crowd of people interested in autism, which is getting bigger on the scientific and professional level, but only over the last 10 years things have gained some momentum. Most of the people who are interested in this have been sort of in the tips of branches in academia and are not, haven't been as awakened to this as those of us who are clinicians who are scientists who have autistic children. So what is going on, in my opinion, is that this is not an epidemic of autism. This is an epidemic of global proportions that accounts for the diseases of modern industrialized society. And this has to do with the incidence of hyperactivity in children, all sorts of behavior and developmental problems in children, autism and attention deficit problems, as they're called, are sort of in the center of that spectrum. And then, in addition, there are all these autoimmune problems and immune problems, asthma, and all the diseases, so-called, that end with the letters itis, colitis and dermatitis, and those kinds of things. But then arthritis. But then it turns out now that modern very high-level research, this is not observation, this is research, serious research, at the fundamental causes of all of the major diseases of modern Western society, which is cardiovascular disease, cancer, dementia in old people, the vulnerable other end of the spectrum of age, and when people have troubles with their memory. These problems, including autoimmune disease and autism is what I'm saying, are all part of the same disease, really. The fundamental causes is oxidative stress, problems in detoxification, and inflammation. These are the fundamental biochemical immune problems involved in all of these diseases. Heart disease is no longer thought to be all of this. The cholesterol that you eat clogs up your arteries. It's an inflammation. It's an irritation, and cholesterol is part of the scab that goes on the wound, but you have to figure out what made it itch to begin with. So these things are part of what I'm calling the Oceanic Disease. And the metaphor comes from the notion that different researchers in these very highly funded and very brilliant research teams around the United States and Europe and Australia have been following the trail, each in their own way, to arrive at some understanding of basic mechanisms. And it's as if they arrive on a bluff overlooking the ocean. And they look over and they see, I'm a cardiovascular researcher. They look over there and there's a cancer person over there. And they say, well, what are you doing here? This is my territory. I came here to see in the ocean what are the winds and tides and currents that are forming the forces that drive this problem on the land we've come from. And the cancer person says, well, I followed a trail and I came to the same place here. And this is my territory. And the Alzheimer's person says, no, Alzheimer's is oxidative stress, problems in detoxification and inflammation. So the fundamentals are the same territory, the same chemistry as I came to the edge of the cliff with my autism vocabulary, which was problems in detoxification, the chemistry of thiols and methylation. And I'm looking out there at these same three things, and they all have this one molecule in the intersecting circles that describe these three factors: inflammation, oxidative stress, and detoxification problems. And that's a molecule called glutathione, GSH, as it's called. Well, it's very important then to understand that this is common to everything that's going on here, because it says that our children are telling us something. The children are the canaries in our coal mine. They are telling us that we are destroying or impairing a whole generation or two of children for the sake of waking up to the fact that there's something really dirty in our environment that is poisoning us. And I know it sounds kind of paranoid or extreme to say it that way, but really that's the message we're getting from our children. If we don't listen to that we're losing our children's brains over this problem, and we don't hustle to get the handle on it, then we're going to be in trouble. We are in trouble.